Thanks for staying with us. We're still reviewing Punch. What's the story?
Yes, so I have another human interest story. The Abia State Police Command has confirmed that a police inspector and 3 civilians were killed by armed men on Sunday. The State Commissioner of Police, Kenechukwu Onwuemele, in a statement signed by the police public relations officer, ASP Maureen Chioma Chinaka, said that police operatives that were attached to the Rapid Response Squad Abia State Command, while on patrol along Ungwa Road by Mosque Junction, Aba, were attacked by armed men in an ash-colored Sienna vehicle. And, they said the armed men opened fire on the police personnel, and the operatives tried to repel the attack, preventing what could have been even a deadlier outcome. But during the exchange of gunfire, 2 of the assailants were neutralized, while others escaped, they said, with various degrees of bullet injuries. Unfortunately, a police officer, Inspector Shehu Oyibo, and 3 civilians who were later identified as Chika Godlivet, Onyena Turuchi Jonah, and Item in Bende local government area of the state were found, they lost their lives. They said one was 32 years old, another was 18 years old from Akwa Ibom State. Those were the ones killed by bullets from the assailant. So according to the story, they said the bodies have been deposited, into the mortuary. Yeah.
Are you done? Okay.
Yes, I am.
Okay, so I have NDLA. They have announced the arrest of Ahmadu Garba. He's a 48-year-old physically challenged man who was found in possession of 6 bags of cannabis weighing approximately 67 kilograms at his residence in Yauri, in Kebbi State. They said in Jigawa State, Tukur Yahaya, a 55-year-old, Idris Haruna, 28, and Tanumu Umar, 29, they were nabbed with 90 blocks of cannabis weighing 116.8 kg, Kazaure, on the 19th. Then NDLA also said that some items, they confiscated an illegal shipment of cocaine and loud. And this particular syndicate, the way they try to conceal their own drugs is in incense candles, game packs, dry hibiscus leaves, that's zobo, and traditional women's attire at the Murtala Mohammed International Airport. Of course, they were able to apprehend the suspects as they were associated with this as well. Then they also talked about this businessman, Abdul Wahab Awolabi Alebiosu. He was apprehended July 18th at his residence in Horizon Court in Lekki. They had intercepted a consignment of 40 parcels of loud containing over 20 kilograms. They said that he had concealed these substances within packs of chessboards, Scrabble, checkers, and poker that had been imported from Canada on a British Airways flight. There's nothing that they would not use. They'll start using hair strands.
Very soon.
Because, what is it?
Inside slippers.
What?
Find a way to just...
Okay, let me tell you the story. So the appeal court in Lagos yesterday dismissed the appeal of Denmark national Peter Nielsen. If you recall, this is the man that was actually convicted of killing his wife and daughter. It was in 2022 by Justice Okikio Luigile. In her judgment, which was delivered back in 2022, she held that Nielsen smothered Zainab and Petra Nielsen to death. However, he had appealed that case, hoping that they can relax the sentence of death, because he had actually sentenced him to death by hanging. The appellate court upheld the conviction of Nielsen by the trial court and dismissed the appeal for lack of merit, saying that according to the judge, said that the Lagos State has proved the offense of murder beyond a reasonable doubt. It's resolved that the appeal in favor of the respondent had dismissed the appellant's case. He said that the missing exhibits are the results of the #EndSARS attack on the court do not affect the defense of the appellant, as he had ample opportunity before the attack on the courts. So he was found guilty and convicted of murder again. Really, really sad indeed. Moving on quickly now to Daily Sun. Rebellion brews in Senate over Tinubu's stance. Local government autonomy. Ganduje's aide hails Tinubu's judiciary for display of courage. Paradox of oil wealth. Widespread pauperism in Nigeria. Ladoja under pressure to accept bidded crown. Orji Kalu pushes for part-time legislature and regional government. Tackle insecurity to address food inflation. Traders urge FG. Our diesel meets international standard, says Dangote. 2023 elections violence. Hold governors, deputies, others to account. Court orders INEC. And Obi Digo to Tinubu. Caution. Onanuga before he destroys Nigeria. Okay.
Okay, so I have the Federal High Court and SERAP. So SERAP had gone to court to get a compelling order, compelling INEC to prosecute governors and their deputies and all those involved in electoral violence in the just concluded 2023 elections. And the Federal High Court in Abuja gave all the prayers that they brought before it. He's asking the state governors and their deputies and others to be prosecuted by INEC over cases of electoral violence, bribery, vote buying, conspiracy during the 2023 elections, and all the people arrested also. The court is also ordering that INEC prosecutes them immediately for electoral offences, electoral violence, and other crimes committed during the elections. And this is, this is a good one for me.
Yeah. So the former governor of Abia State, Senator Orji Kalu, and a member of the ruling APC representing Abia North, has said that, or he's actually calling for a part-time legislature and at the national and state assemblies. And he said this will help to cut the cost of governance and also endear the people to the government. So he said this on his Facebook page over the weekend, and I quote, he says, "I think it would be a very good idea if my colleagues and other members of the House of Assembly will agree that we can sit for 3 months and do constitutional amendment first. So we can sit 4 times a year, and if there's an emergency, there will be an emergency sitting. We can come to do a presidential bid on that basis and go back instead of sitting on a full-time basis." It says not only the Senate and the House of Representatives, but also the legislative houses in Nigeria will be on part-time basis. So he also maintained that the move is just to, as part of the austerity measures that everybody has to take to reduce the cost of governance. Also talking about regional government as another viable option. So he says if we're not going for a regional government, or if we are going for a regional government, it means that the ministers and the legislatures will be one and the same. And he's been thinking about this idea on how they can, sort of save costs. So he says first, before I give my comments, he says, "I will encourage the President, Bola Ahmed Tinubu, and the National Assembly to make these kinds of laws. This will help him and the system, and it will also help everybody." And he says there are a lot of misconceptions that senators earn a lot of money, which is not true, but he would agree that they need to, try and sit so that it's not something they are doing regularly. They just come in, do the job, and then go and face their businesses. It's one of the things that I've also, thought about, that how do we make this as something that you of course you understand the laws and everything you need to do when you come, but then it's not we're not putting you on a payroll as you are doing work, because we understand that that's not the kind of, you don't make those decisions on a daily basis. You can do your businesses, grow in your different fields, and then come from time to time, make the laws, and then also gives you an opportunity to see how life is outside, so that when you come, you are more the laws. I agree with him totally, and I hope that the president will likely consider it and see how this goes.
Okay, so the story that I have in Sun is that a rebellion is brewing in the Senate over the seeming pro-executive stance on leadership. Some members of the upper chamber are dissatisfied with some of the developments happening in the Senate. According to this report, there's widespread claim that the president has taken firm control of the Senate. So if you recall, they're having issues with the fact that dissenting views are being punished for the expression of their views. So they reminded us that back in March, one of the ranking senators from the North, Abdul Ningi, was suspended for claiming that the current national budget was padded. If you recall, he was suspended for 3 months, and then the suspension was lifted in June. Also, very recently, Senator Ndumetu was suspended as chief whip of the Senate because obviously he was criticizing the president. So there's speculations that him being demoted for criticizing the president is causing a bit of internal revolution or rancor within the Senate, and they're asking that this must be taken very seriously. The development, according to Daily Sun, has reliably gathered that it's causing a silent resistance and revolution in the various caucuses of the Senate, where members said they can no longer grant press interviews because they don't want to be sanctioned by the Senate president. So this is just something that was important for us to ensure that there's no rebellion within the Senate.
I have the Chief of Army Staff, Lieutenant General Tauri Lagbaja, has called for collaboration in addressing contentious issues of how armies can better protect the nation. They said he presented the paper at the Symposium on Peace, Security and the Commitment of the Youth. This was organized by the French Army in France. He spoke on the topic armies and the protection of their national territory, legal framework, issues and challenges. This event was attended by 12 other chiefs of national armies across Africa. So his concerns were the applicability of local and international laws and conventions in the face of harrowing struggles against non-state actors. He said that these actors choose to either ignore or treat the laws with levity. Was just really a conversation about, how better to protect, the army protect their territories. And the French army was talking about transiting from solely military to an all-encompassing, mutually beneficial approach to relationship engagement, which is, what we always say, it's not just in the weapons, it's also in the relationships and the intelligence. So.
All right, that's all we can take on Front Page Review today. We'll come back, continue with our show. Stay with us, we'll be right back.
Stay tuned. Your View will be right back.